I want to take this moment to thank Benjamin Jealous and the NAACP for the work that they are doing in reference to ensuring that everyone has the right to vote. Here at Trinity United Church of Christ, we have been involved in efforts to ensure that every citizen has the right to vote and fighting against voter suppression laws that have been instituted in a variety of states throughout the United States. Recently, we created a video and a petition that talks about invisible racism. We believe as a congregation, one, everyone should have the right to vote. Two, that it should be easy to vote. That there should be a way for a person to register at the polls. We also believe that early voting is incredibly important, especially for our seniors. And we also believe that if you have served your time, you should have your right to vote restored. It is also interesting that those who are incarcerated are counted in the electorate. And so when federal money is passed out to certain communities, they count people who cannot vote. Shouldn't they have the right also to vote? Many people will state that, well, everybody can get a photo ID, but one research firm states that 25% of African Americans of age who are registered do not have a photo ID. 20% of people of Asian descent, and 19% of people who are Latinos, that this adversely affects the population of people who are minorities in the United States of America. We believe that this is a fundamental right that everyone should have. It's not an issue of right or left, but is an issue of American democracy. There was something called the poll tax when my grandfather was living. They would ask the question to him if he wanted to vote, how many bubbles in a bar of soap? Or another question would be, can you recite the Constitution of the state of Georgia? Another question was this, how many pebbles of sand are on a beach? Of course, no one could answer those questions and he was unable to vote. Well, when we put in place certain laws that restrict people from their fundamental right, we are creating the type of poll tax that my grandfather had to deal with. It is in the state of Indiana when they tightened the registration and tightened voter ability for people. 80,000 people who did not have a photo ID were unable to exercise their right to vote. By taking away Sunday in Ohio, allowing churches to place people on buses so they can vote, it restricts people who are isolated, especially those who are seniors. We should encourage people to vote, not make it more difficult for people to vote. And if we look at an investigative report in Mother Jones, we find out that over the last 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, roughly about 649 million people participated in some form of general election. Out of 69 million people, there are roughly 47,000 people who said they saw a UFO. And from that, about 441 people were killed by lightning, and there were only 13, quote, credible cases in 10 years, supposedly of voter impersonation fraud. We hear a lot of noise about we are trying to protect the right to vote, but we have no evidence to say that massive fraud is happening anywhere in the country. This is simply a ploy. Everyone, whether a person of faith or whether in the secular community, we should encourage people to vote and protect the fundamental right. This is the heart of our democracy. I'm Pastor Otis Moss III here in Chicago, Illinois at Trinity United Church of Christ, encouraging you to unseat invisible racism to make sure everyone has the right to vote. God bless.